G'day and welcome to today's video. In this video today I'm currently going to be tearing down a Samsung Galaxy A20, and with that I'll be replacing the display and front frame. So to begin with, you'd want to have it sitting on a heat pad, which I have here. This is that blue mat in the video, and it's been sitting on there now for around about 5 minutes, and that's got the adhesive relatively tacky to handle. But I've also got a thin metal pry tool, and this one has been dipped in isopropyl alcohol just to soften it to be able to get into the phone itself. So I find with the Samsung Galaxy A series, the back cover removal is probably the hardest to do on the majority of new Samsung phones. I found with it that the flexibility of it usually makes it a bit more vulnerable to getting scratched, or since it's made of plastic, not glass. So the chance of damaging it I find extremely high, especially when compared to something like the Samsung Galaxy S8, 9, 10, basically the whole S series. So I find that heat and prying, rather than trying to slice it, tends to do less damage to the back cover itself. So as you can see, I'm nearly into the phone itself. Just one bit of adhesive that doesn't want to leave. There we go, one back cover removed, mostly intact. So from there I'm going to proceed onwards towards taking the plastic shields off, remove the rear fingerprint scanner as well while you're at it. And then from there you're going to need a small Phillips head screwdriver. That, potentially a pair of tweezers as well. And as you can see, I've decided to remove the screws from the bottom of the screen, or the bottom of the back cover. Doesn't really matter if you start at the top or the bottom with this one, as long as you remove all those screws that are necessary to be removed. So once you've finished removing all those Phillips head screws, you should be able to use your fingernails to pry it open. If you've got the SIM eject tool, make sure you use that now. Otherwise, just be cautious as you're working your way around the phone to get that SIM tray out without doing any damage to the SIM tray holder or the SIM tray slot itself. And once you're in there, if you've bought the Samsung service pack, you should be getting the screen with the plastic body already there. And with that, we're going to have to swap the majority of this over into it. So with the mainboard removed, from here you're going to have to move over the vibrating motor and also the earpiece speaker. The vibrating motor, with a bit of heat, it should come out relatively easily. You will have to use a bit of caution though with the earpiece speaker, removing that. I tend to try and dig it under and out, just so I don't damage the speaker cone itself. As you can see here, I've got the service pack. So an original Samsung display, which did come out at a very ridiculous price when they first came out. Luckily they've calmed down since then. Now, I am trying to maintain the gaskets here while I'm taking the just bits of plastic off it, the plastic covers off it. A couple of them did want to leave, which is certainly not what you want to happen. There we go, I've removed one charging flex and I'll transfer that over. It just kind of sits or presses into its certain position where it lives. Shouldn't require much force or much effort to get it there. There we go, I'm just going to route around one of the antenna cables. Do note that the blue does go underneath the white, so white is on top, blue is on the bottom. And now the next from here, I'm going to spray some isopropyl alcohol on the bottom section of the battery. What that should do is soften the adhesive for the battery and make it pretty straightforward to be able to remove it without using too much force. Typically here I'd use some double-sided tape to stick down the battery, but currently I'm all out of that, so I've just put some B7000 frame adhesive on there, just a few dobs of it, and that should keep that battery into position once that cures. Now from here it's time to move over the main board, connect up the antenna cables. Now, since the battery doesn't want to stay into position until that glue sets, I'm just going to move over a couple of the adhesive strips just to hold that battery into place while that glue cures. This shouldn't necessarily be a step you have to do, especially if you've got that brand new replacement double-sided adhesive. Now from here, you need to put in one of the mainboard screws that should hold it into position, or go back to where it originally was from. Yep, if you're not too sure where a screw's meant to go, put the back cover over it again and look what holes will get covered and which holes won't. Now I need to put on some flex cables. Once these are reattached, from there you're pretty much set to put the back trim back, the plastic trim back on, and then proceed to put the screws back in and then stick down the back cover. So at this point here, you're about 3/4 through the job, nearly at the end. So I think you should hopefully be capable of completing this task on your own. So I'm going to catch you later, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.